and try to create some chances. Pragg showed excellent technique. His win was never in danger, and the handshake, a very critical game. Hikaru Nakamura needs to bounce back at all costs with the black pieces.
And Pragg there, he gathers himself and he deviates from their classical game. He plays 1e4, and look at Hikaru playing an opening that he is known to play online, and he has played this opening in must-win scenarios before. The modern defense with 1d6 followed by g6 and the early bishop fianchetto. And Pragg, he seems to be prepared. Theoretical line, but Pragg seems to be stellarly prepared here.
Well, I'm pretty sure that he kind of expected, and we spoke about this also, that yesterday Wesley should have played d4, g6, whatever, close his eyes, try to fight, because if you go for theoretical lines on this level against such well-prepared opponents, you have zero chances of creating problems. This is exactly the right strategy what Hikaru is doing. It's not about objective chess, it's about creating chances for yourself.
First and foremost, with the black pieces, you have to unbalance the game. And if you have to accept an objectively worse position to do that, you are more than happy to pay the price. Of course, black is somewhat worse in a lot of lines in the modern, but what Pragg is doing is trying to balance the structure here. He plays the bishop c4 line with the aim of preparing the early e4, e5. This compels black to be the one to push e5. Pragg trades and gets, I think, exactly the kind of position that you want in a situation where a draw suits you. You've got solid hesitation, some nerves, double checking, making sure, scanning the board, and he retracts his hand. G4 is what stands between Pragg and qualification. Just making sure that that move has the desired effect, because it does weaken the king. It is a committal move, but just look at Nakamura's pieces, and he has done it on the board.
Yes.
It's over.
And look at this, yeah. Everything is written on Hikaru's face.
What an incredible game, honestly, Peter. It's not that Pragg eked out a draw somewhere, and Hikaru, of course, has continued to try to stir up complications, but this is a moot point. Knight b6, I think, for one thing, forces bishop takes g4. It's the way in which he's doing it. He's doing it from a position of strength. He outplays Hikaru in a game where he only needs a draw.
Yeah, now every move is winning. The big question is which one he will choose.
Knight b6, the best move
on the board, and I don't see any defense.
Bishop takes g4 and knight f4.
Yeah, but also then rook d7 basically wins the queen, but I don't feel like winning that queen. I don't want to free those pieces. Black is completely tied on, nothing moves.
For sure. And Hikaru, we're entering the territory where he might resign. Since this is, his last moments, I think he is going to try a couple more moves. Why not? Why not test your opponent to the end? But what an incredible display this is by Pragg. And the reason he's winning a piece, the d7 bishop is hanging, the h5 knight is hanging, and he has indeed given up the bishop on d7. So now Pragg has to win the queen, but the king is perfectly safe, Peter, on h2, because the second rank is held by the knight on f3.
Yes, and basically black's king on g7 is also very vulnerable with the pawn on f6. Pragg needs to keep his nerves in check, but the position, chess-wise, the game is over.
Indeed, and he takes on d7. Yeah. Not much to play for left. Knight takes d7, there's even queen takes a7. Oh, that might be just the dagger.
That's exactly. That's what's gonna happen.
And Pragg kind of looking up at Hikaru, waiting for him to extend his hand in resignation. No more. You pointed out as early as his second round, Peter, that it's not just the level of play, but also the wide variety of different positions that he handles with such grace, such precision. Even in this mini match, right? In the previous game, it was wild, it was tactical. In this mini match, right? In the previous game, it was wild, it was tactical. He had to save his king and convert that extra piece. Check. In this game, it's very positional. He's playing in the center. It's a pretty symmetrical pawn structure. Check. In his previous matches, he's shown such a breadth of knowledge, such erudition in the opening and the middle game that it's frankly just breathtaking to watch him at play. And knight takes e5, I think, is just going to end it on the spot.
Well, or queen takes a7. You can just insist on trading the queens, yeah, that's it.
And Pragg plays queen takes a7. He will be up a full piece in the endgame. It's time for Hikaru to call it a day.
I think Hikaru is only playing because of terrible frustration, yeah, that he knows that his World Cup is finishing. Otherwise, in any other circumstances, I don't see him continuing this.
He needs to win this game, we remind you. He needs to win this game.
Yeah, and actually his king is in a mating net. Yeah, White can also just
h4.
play h4. Yeah, h4, it's hopeless.
And Pragg may be taking a little bit longer than he normally would have. I think normally he can win this playing instantly. But what is the meaning of playing too quickly and squandering everything? g5, knight e5, the best move in the position. Precision to the end. Knight g4, and rook takes h7 is the mating net. Hikaru has to give up more material. He's got to go g4. But then h4.
Yes, if you want to be extremely cruel, then you go h4.
I think that's exactly what Pragg wants.
Setting further up the mating net against Black's king.
Incredible. And I was expecting a handshake a couple moves ago. I think you called it frustration. The only reason that Hikaru keeps this game going, because objectively, to win this game would take literally an act of God.
Yeah, it's impossible. I mean, basically, if your opponent is down to 2 seconds on the clock, then and there is only 1 second increment, maybe you can hope. But even then, I don't really believe that you have any chances with this time control. And okay, Pragg just took hg4, king g5. He doesn't want to do any fancy business. Why should he? I believe that he will also challenge that knight on d3, on f4 with the knight d3 move. And okay, h5 on the board.
Take it. And even rook g7, king f6, rook f7. Some tactics can help Pragg eliminate
rook
that
knight d3. Knight d3, just exactly, because you feel like your opponent is only relying on his active knight on f4, the last active knight. Let's not grab any more material, let's just get rid of that knight and that's it.
Are we entering territory, Peter, where you're surprised at this point that Hikaru is still not resigning?
Okay, I'm surprised already for a very long time, but it's not about chess. This has nothing to do with chess. Hikaru knows exactly, yeah.
Okay, bishop f7. We have an interesting endgame in the Magnus Carlsen game. Magnus might be winning his game against Vincent Keimer. And there's action on that board as well, but obviously we wanted to wait for the handshake. This is such a huge moment, folks. I think Pragg deserves for the handshake in this game to be shown on camera, but this game might drag on quite a bit longer than we expected.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially knowing that Hikaru needs to win. Yeah, it's okay, even a draw is kind of impossible, but he needs a win at just...
I guess we should take it to the Magnus game because there is a little bit more meat on the bone there. I mean, the result here is not in question at all. Magnus is close to converting an advantage in the endgame. It's bishop versus knight. And we had it open there on his game. Hikaru has resigned. There is the victor, Praggnanandhaa. Hikaru quickly leaving the board. Incredible moment. Praggnanandhaa knocks out Hikaru Nakamura and he does it in phenomenal, mature, professional